to some breaking news that we are following right now out of the Middle East. Take a look. Israel says it has eliminated the head of the Hamas terror group in Jenin. That's over in the West Bank, where Israel did begin its counterterrorism operation earlier in the week. The Israel Defense Force is saying this video shows the assassination of Wassim Hassem, who was inside that vehicle on your screen. The Israeli military says he was involved in carrying out and directing shooting and bombing attacks, as well as other terrorist activities in several parts of the West Bank. Do want to talk about that and all of the developments here, so let's bring in John Strawson, a friend of the show. He's an emeritus professor in the Department of Law, Justice, and Policing at the University of East London. John, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here.
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Well, first off, I do want to talk about this assassination of the head of Hamas over in Jenin. How significant is that for Israel?
Well, in Jenin, there's been a whole group of people coordinated by Hassem, actually, called the Lion's Den, which brings together a series of militant groups, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and actually some of the Fatah militants in Al-Aqsa brigades. And this Lion's Den has been definitely causing a huge problem, not only for the Israelis, but actually also for the Palestinian Authority led by Mahmoud Abbas. And what we've actually seen over the last couple of days has been the elimination of leaders of Islamic Jihad. Yesterday it was Mohammed Jabbar, who was assassinated, and today the leader of Hamas in the West Bank. And I think what that does is certainly underline the seriousness of what has been taking place as a sort of subset of October the 7th and the Gaza war in the West Bank, with the upswing of terrorist attacks. And I think that this shows the resolve that the Israelis had. If you remember, last week in Lebanon, they eliminated Khalil Maqdar, who was accused by the Israelis of working with the Iranian Revolutionary Guards in funding weapons and explosives which were being smuggled from Lebanon through Syria and Jordan into the West Bank. So I think that this operation which has been taking place very much addresses the concerns which the Israelis, but also, as a matter of fact, the Palestinian Authority has about what's been taking place in Jenin.
And kind of on that same topic here, we did hear from Israel's, I believe, foreign minister there, that he actually wants a security fence put up at the Jordan, really the Israel border there. So what would be the significance of that? Is that really a possibility?
Well, I think what that highlights is the much more porous borders between Israel and Jordan than we often think exists. If you cross over, for instance, the Allenby Bridge, which connects Israel and the West Bank, or the West Bank and Jordan, I should say, which is controlled by the Israelis, you'd imagine that the security is absolutely tight. But if you go further afield, there's quite a long, through the Jordan Valley, quite a long border. All sorts of possibilities do take place, and of course there have been regular incursions. And what I think is quite clear from what's been taking place in Gaza is that the idea that there would not just be overland porous borders, but also underland through tunnels, is something which the Israelis obviously are extremely concerned about. So I think we're going to see a toughening of the border between the West Bank and Jordan, and also between Israel and its neighbors.
We've heard from Israel that so far they've been able to eliminate about 80% of those terror tunnels that are located over in the area of the Philadelphia corridor. So is it possible for Israel to actually eliminate all of those tunnels?
Well, here, of course, we've discussed this before over the last few weeks, and of course we never know what the 80% is of. What we can say is that the Israelis clearly have increased their destruction of tunnels over the past few weeks, particularly in the border area between Gaza and Egypt, the so-called Philadelphia corridor, and that obviously is very important. This has been, of course, this is the key sticking point of the deal between Israel and Hamas about a ceasefire and indeed